She was the face that defined Hollywood glamour, the smile that captivated millions, and the woman the world could never stop watching. But behind the blonde curls and dazzling fame was a lonely little girl named Norma Jean, searching for love her entire life. And by the end of this story, you may never look at Marilyn Monroe the same way again. Born in Los Angeles in 1926, Marilyn Monroe entered the world as Norma Jean Mortensen. Her mother, Gladys Baker, struggled with severe mental illness, and baby Norma's difficult journey began almost immediately. At just 6 months old, Norma posed for her first portrait photograph. Nobody knew this tiny child would one day become the most photographed woman in Hollywood history. By age 2, Norma was already living with foster parents. Stability was something she rarely experienced during her childhood years. Her mother visited whenever she could, and those moments together became precious memories in an otherwise uncertain childhood. Even as a little girl, Norma had a natural charm. The warmth in her smile already hinted at the star she would later become. She loved animals deeply throughout her life. Dogs especially brought comfort during years filled with loneliness and instability. By her teenage years, Norma's beauty was undeniable, yet behind those striking features was a shy young woman carrying emotional scars from childhood. During World War II, Norma worked in a munitions factory. It seemed like an ordinary wartime job, but destiny was quietly waiting for her there. Family gatherings were rare, but meaningful. For Norma, moments like these offered brief feelings of belonging she had long missed. At only 16 years old, Norma married merchant marine Jimmy Doherty. To many, she seemed like an ordinary American girl beginning married life. But everything changed when a military photographer noticed her beauty at the factory. Soon, Norma began modeling, and the camera instantly adored her. Before the blonde curls became famous worldwide, Marilyn was still a brunette young woman trying to find her place in Hollywood. In 1947, she signed with 20th Century Fox and officially became Marilyn Monroe, a name Hollywood would never forget. People often underestimated Marilyn, but behind the beauty was a hardworking actress determined to master her craft. She carefully created every detail of the Marilyn Monroe image: the makeup, the lipstick, the eyeliner, and that unforgettable expression. Long before wellness trends became popular, Marilyn practiced yoga regularly to keep herself physically and emotionally balanced. By the late 1940s, Marilyn's transformation was complete. Hollywood photographers simply couldn't get enough of her. She had become more than a model. Marilyn Monroe was rapidly becoming America's newest fascination. Despite her growing fame, Marilyn desperately wanted to be respected as a serious actress, not just another pretty face. Her performances in The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve finally convinced Hollywood critics to pay attention. Marilyn worked tirelessly behind the scenes, studying scripts and practicing performances long after cameras stopped rolling. Now standing beside legends like Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, Marilyn Monroe had officially entered Hollywood royalty. When Marilyn pressed her hands into the cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater, her place in cinematic history became permanent. Fans adored her everywhere she went. Children, adults, soldiers, celebrities. Everyone wanted a moment with Marilyn Monroe. At a glamorous Hollywood party, Marilyn caught the attention of baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, beginning one of America's most famous romances. Their wedding became front-page news across the country. Together, they looked like the perfect American couple. During the Korean War, Marilyn performed for thousands of American soldiers. She later said it was one of the few times she truly felt loved. Wherever she went, crowds gathered instantly. Her fame had grown larger than anyone could have imagined. But behind the glamorous headlines, cracks were forming. Less than 1 year later, Marilyn and Joe DiMaggio divorced. Tired of being typecast as a dumb blonde, Marilyn moved to New York to study serious acting at the famous Actors Studio. Even while attending glamorous events, Marilyn continued fighting to prove she was far more intelligent than Hollywood believed. In rare, quiet moments like this, we see the real Marilyn, vulnerable, thoughtful, and surprisingly simple. Behind the bright lights and camera flashes, Marilyn often struggled with deep loneliness. Studio executives celebrated her enormous success, but Marilyn still longed for artistic respect and emotional peace. As she entered her 30s, Marilyn quietly battled growing anxiety about fame, aging, and her future. She soon fell deeply in love with playwright Arthur Miller, believing he truly understood the woman behind the celebrity. For a while, their marriage gave Marilyn hope for a calmer and more meaningful life. In moments like these, Marilyn seemed less like a global icon and more like an ordinary woman hoping to finally belong somewhere. But the non-stop pressure from reporters and photographers followed her everywhere, never allowing her peace. Marilyn traveled to London with Arthur Miller while filming The Prince and the Showgirl, still trying to balance fame and personal happiness. With Some Like It Hot, Marilyn delivered one of the greatest comedy performances Hollywood had ever seen. Yet behind the scenes of The Misfits, her marriage and emotional health were quietly falling apart. By the early 1960s, Marilyn struggled with depression, insomnia, and prescription medication addiction. In 1961, she was hospitalized for emotional exhaustion. Then, on August 4, 1962, Marilyn Monroe died at only 36 years old. But decades later, the world still remembers her beauty, vulnerability, and unforgettable presence. Behind the glamorous legend was always a little girl named Norma Jean, searching for love, acceptance, and peace. And perhaps that is why Marilyn Monroe still touches hearts today, because beneath the fame, she was beautifully human.